We've been having a bit of a clear out. Anyone else having a clear out at home? Yep, I bet you are. Great time, isn't it, to get through those old boxes and think what's in there. And we found many things. Last week we showed you a few things that we found. And this week we found a poster from back in the day, back in the Jazz and Blues Project days, featuring Pee Wee Ellis. So what's the story behind that?
That is brilliant.
How come Pee Wee Ellis, James Brown, and we played with James Brown and he played with Van Morrison. How did he end up in Norwich Arts Centre? Well, I can tell you the story. I was having saxophone lessons back in the day. This is the late 90s, early 2000s. Having lessons with my mentor, Paul Stevenson. Big shout out for him. Great guy.
Hey, Paul.
Great scene. He said, you know, you really shouldn't be sticking around in Norwich, listening to music in Norwich. No offence, by the way, Norwich musicians, but you want to get down to London and hear some real stuff going on. So I went down to Ronnie Scott's and I went down on my own. I went down there, saw Pee Wee Ellis. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, he's just right in our street because he's not a real jazzy type player. He's like, he can play funk. He plays soul. So it's really got it. So anyway, I sort of plucked up courage at the end of the gig and I went up to him and I said, oh, by the way, Pee Wee, do you think you'd come to Norwich and like do a gig for us and maybe sit in on one of our jams? We've got a great scene. I could try and get some money from the Arts Council. He went, yeah, sure,
amazing.
right. So I applied for it and believe it or not, the Arts Council gave us the money to get Pee Wee Ellis up. So believe it or not, there we were in Norwich Arts Centre Cafe Bar with our normal jazz night.
It's amazing,
and who
really.
was sitting in? Pee Wee Ellis. And it was so unbelievably cool. And then he did a gig for us the next day. And then it was just such a wonderful thing to meet him. Absolutely great. And then what should happen about 2 weeks later, I was actually flying out of Stansted Airport. That's when I was still flying. Sorry, XR, I'm giving up as much as possible. But I was flying out of Stansted Airport. I wasn't even supposed to be in Stansted Airport. I was diverted out of Norwich. I'm not supposed to be going out of Norwich. And who should I meet but Charlotte and Pee Wee? They were right there. He had his saxophone with him. I couldn't believe it. I thought, what on earth is this? It was complete coincidence. And that's when I asked him for lessons. And I started going to his house. I went there quite a few times. It's quite a long way from here. It's down in Frome, near Bristol, Bath way. It's miles. It took me all day to get there and back. But I had some terrific lessons with the guy, and that was really good. And I know what you're thinking. You had lessons from Pee Wee Ellis. Why can't you play the saxophone better than that? Sorry, Pee Wee. I'm trying. I'm practicing, right? I'm practicing, man. Okay, so let's have a shout out. Pee Wee Ellis, great guy. Hope you're listening, Pee Wee. Hope you're listening at home. Hope you're keeping safe. And that was another great night we had, some great times we had at Norwich Arts Centre.